He moved to the living room, heels clicking on the hardwood, and adjusted the playlist to something softer, hoping to calm his nerves. The loft felt alive, its fairy lights casting a warm glow, but the outside world was a threat. He imagined Isabella's reaction: shock, confusion, maybe betrayal, and his stomach twisted. Trying on her heels was personal, a secret he hadn't planned to share. He swayed to the music, letting the skirt move with him, imagining himself at a gallery opening, confident and untouchable. The fantasy was intoxicating, but it was shattered by a text notification that made his blood run cold. "Those heels look better on you than me." It was from Isabella. Avery froze, his phone trembling in his hand. How did she know? Had she seen him through the window? The loft's large windows were partially covered by sheer curtains, a careless mistake. He rushed to draw them fully closed, heart hammering, but another text came through. "Red lipstick too? You're stealing my look." His mind raced. Was she outside, watching? Or had someone else seen him and used her phone? He typed a response, "What are you talking about?" But his fingers shook and he deleted it. He needed to change, to erase the evidence before she arrived, but the pull to stay in this moment was strong. He darted to the bedroom, fumbling with his skirt zipper, but it caught, the fabric snagging in his haste. The heels were harder to remove, the straps digging into his ankles. He wiped at his face with a tissue, smearing the lipstick into a red streak, the mascara streaking into dark lines. The mirror showed a mess, half Avery, half someone else, caught between two identities. Another text buzzed, "I'm outside.
Can't wait to see you."
His stomach dropped. She was here, and he was still in her heels. The front door creaked open, and Isabella's voice called out, "Avery? You in there?" Her tone was playful, but there was an edge to it, a curiosity that made his blood run cold. He grabbed a hoodie from the bed, yanking it over the skirt, but the hem still peeked out, a traitor to his secret. He kicked off the heels, shoving them under the bed, but one rolled out, its red strap glinting in the light. He stood in front of the mirror, trying to compose himself, his reflection chaotic, makeup smeared, skirt half-hidden, heels exposed. He looked like a half-finished portrait, raw and vulnerable. Isabella appeared in the doorway, her black hair loose, her green eyes scanning the room. "Hey, you okay?" she said, her smile faltering as she took in his disheveled appearance. "What's with the makeup?" Her gaze dropped to the skirt's hem, then to the heel under the bed. "Are those my heels?" she asked, her voice a mix of surprise and something else, amusement? Intrigue? I can explain," he stammered, his voice barely audible. But before he could find the words, his phone buzzed again. Another text from Isabella. "You're killing it. Try the dress next." His heart stopped. She was standing right in front of him, not holding her phone. Was someone else using her number? Or was this a game, a test of his feelings? He looked at her, confusion and fear warring in his chest, and knew he was running out of time to decide. Confess everything or keep hiding. Avery's mind spun as he stood frozen in the bedroom, the black skirt a heavy secret beneath the oversized hoodie. Isabella's eyes were locked on him, her brow furrowed with a mix of curiosity and concern. "Avery, what's going on?" she asked, stepping closer, her backpack slung over one shoulder. "The latest text, you're killing it. Try the dress next," burned in his hand, sent from her number, but she was right here, not texting. His stomach churned. Was someone pranking him? Had someone seen him through the window and hacked her account? Or was Isabella playing a game, testing him in a way he couldn't understand? "It's your heels," he said, the words tumbling out before he could stop them. "I found them under the couch and, I don't know, I just tried them on. I'm sorry." His voice cracked, his face burning with shame. He tugged the hoodie down, trying to hide the skirt, but the movement only drew her attention to the hem peeking out. Her eyes widened, but there was no judgment in them, only surprise. "Okay," she said slowly, setting her backpack down. "I'm not mad, Avery. I'm just confused. Why didn't you tell me you were curious about this?" Her tone was gentle, but the question felt like a spotlight, exposing his deepest fears. He'd spent months hiding his feelings for her, and now this. wearing her heels, felt like a betrayal of their friendship. Before he could answer, the doorbell rang, sharp and jarring. Avery's heart lurched. "Who's that?" Isabella asked, her tone shifting to suspicion. She moved toward the door, but Avery grabbed her arm, panic rising. "Don't," he said, his voice urgent. "I'm not. I can't let anyone see me like this." His hands shook as he gestured to the hoodie, the skirt, the smeared makeup. Isabella looked at him, then at the door, hesitating as the bell rang again. "I'll see who it is," she said, pulling away. "Stay here." Avery's mind raced. What if it was Riley, his coworker, dropping off a schedule? Or a neighbor curious about the noise? Portland's loft buildings were notorious for thin walls, and he'd been careless with the curtains. He bolted to the bathroom, shutting the door behind him, and frantically began to change. The skirt's zipper snagged, the fabric tearing slightly as he yanked it off. The tights he'd added were harder to remove, clinging to his legs. He wiped at his face with a wet towel, smearing the lipstick further, the mascara leaving dark streaks. From the living room, he heard voices, Isabella's and another, unfamiliar. A woman's voice, clipped and professional. "I'm looking for Avery Quinn," the woman said. "I'm with building management. We've had reports of suspicious activity in the complex. Have you noticed anything unusual?" Avery's blood ran cold. Suspicious activity? His mind flashed to the texts, the open curtains, the moment he'd stood in the living room, swaying in the heels. Had someone seen him? Was that why Isabella's phone was sending those messages? He glanced at the mirror, where the single red heel lay exposed under the bed, glinting in the fairy lights. It was a small thing, but it felt like a beacon, a symbol of his vulnerability. Isabella's voice was calm, deflecting. "Nothing unusual here. Just hanging out. We'll let you know if we see anything." The woman thanked her and left, but Avery's relief was short-lived. He stepped out of the bathroom, the skirt and tights discarded, his face mostly clean but still flushed. Isabella was waiting, her arms crossed, her expression unreadable. "Suspicious activity," she said, raising an eyebrow. "Care to explain what's going on, Avery? And what's with the texts you keep looking at?" She nodded toward his phone, still clutched in his hand. He swallowed hard, the weight of the moment crushing. "I got these texts from your number," he said, showing her the screen. "Saying I looked better in your heels, suggesting a dress next. But you were here, not texting. I don't know what's happening." His voice shook, the fear of being watched, exposed, overwhelming him. Isabella's eyes widened as she read the messages. "I didn't send these," she said, her voice sharp. "Someone's using my number or, I don't know, spoofing it." She grabbed her own phone, checking her sent messages, but found nothing. "Avery, this is creepy. Who could have seen you?" His mind raced. The open curtains, the texts, the building management's visit. It was too much coincidence. "I don't know," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "I was careful, but maybe someone saw me through the window." Or maybe he trailed off, a new fear gripping him. Had someone in the building been watching him, waiting for this moment? He thought of Riley, who'd been overly curious about his late-night writing sessions, or the neighbor across the hall, Mrs. Chun, who always seemed to know everyone's business. "We need to figure this out," Isabella said, her voice firm. "But first, tell me the truth. Why did you try on my heels? Is this something you've done before?" Her eyes searched his, and Avery felt a surge of defiance, a need to stop hiding. "I've never done this before," he admitted, his voice steadying. "But when I found your heels, I don't know, I wanted to know what it felt like. To be someone else, maybe. I've always felt like I'm hiding part of myself, and this felt like a way to explore it. I didn't mean to keep it from you. I like you, Isabella, more than just a friend, and I was scared you'd think I'm weird." Isabella's expression softened, and she stepped closer, touching his arm. "You're not weird," she said. "I like you too, Avery, and this doesn't change that. But these texts, someone knows something, and it's freaking me out." Before he could respond, a loud crash came from the hallway, like glass shattering. They froze, eyes darting toward the sound. "What was that?" Isabella whispered, her hand tightening on his arm. Avery's mind flashed to the open curtains, the mysterious texts, the building management's warning. Had someone been in the apartment? He grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen drawer, his heart pounding, and moved toward the hallway. Isabella close behind. The hallway was dark, the light bulb overhead flickering. A small picture frame, one of Avery's Polaroids, lay shattered on the floor, its glass scattered like tiny accusations. The window at the end of the hall was open, curtains flapping in the night breeze. Had someone climbed in? Avery's phone buzzed again, another text from Isabella's number. Everyone's staring now.
Keep going.
His blood ran cold. Someone was watching and they were close. He showed the text to Isabella, whose face paled. "This isn't me," she said, her voice trembling. "We need to call the police." But as she reached for her phone, Avery noticed something on the floor near the broken frame, a small, folded note in unfamiliar handwriting. "You look better in those heels. Don't stop now." The note was unsigned, but it was written on a piece of paper torn from one of his notebooks, a personal violation that made his skin crawl. Avery stood in the hallway, the flashlight trembling in his hand as he stared at the note. "You look better in those heels. Don't stop now." The broken frame crunched under his feet, each shard reflecting his fear. Isabella gripped his arm, her eyes darting to the open window where the night air carried a chill. The text from her number, "Those heels look better on you than me." Everyone's staring now, hung between them like a threat. Who was watching? Who had been in his apartment, leaving notes and breaking frames? The loft, once a sanctuary, now felt like a stage, and Avery was the unwitting star of a performance he didn't understand. "We need to call the police," Isabella said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her hands. "Someone was here, Avery. This isn't just about the heels anymore." She pulled out her phone, but Avery hesitated, his mind racing. Calling the police meant explaining everything, the skirt, the makeup, the heels, the texts. What if they didn't take it seriously? What if they exposed his secret to the entire building, to Portland's gossip-hungry art scene? He nodded, but his thoughts were elsewhere, caught on the note's cryptic message. "Don't stop now." Was this a prank, a stalker, or something more personal? He thought of Riley, who'd been nosy about his time with Isabella, or Mrs. Chun, the neighbor who always seemed to know too much. Had someone seen him through the window, mistaken his actions for something suspicious? Or was it someone closer, someone who knew Isabella's number and Avery's vulnerabilities? "Let's check the apartment first," Avery said, his voice hoarse. "Make sure no one's still here." He led Isabella back to the bedroom, the flashlight cutting through the darkness. The skirt lay crumpled on the floor, the heels half hidden under the bed, the cosmetic bag open on the bathroom sink. It was a crime scene of his own making, each item a piece of evidence that could unravel his life. Isabella picked up the red heel, holding it gently, as if it were a relic. "You don't have to be ashamed of this," she said softly. "I think it's brave, exploring who you are. And you did look good in them." Her smile was small but genuine, a flicker of hope in the storm of his anxiety. Her words were a balm, but the fear lingered. He wanted to believe her, to trust that she could accept this side of him, but the note and texts were a reminder that someone else was watching, someone who might not be so kind. He checked the closet, the bathroom, under the bed. No one was there, but the open window in the hallway gnawed at him. Had someone climbed in, left the note, and slipped out? He returned to the living room, where another text buzzed. "Look in the notebook." Avery's heart stopped. He grabbed the notebook from his desk, flipping through its pages of story outlines and sketches. Tucked between 2 pages was another note, in the same unfamiliar handwriting. "You're stealing the spotlight. Keep going." The words sent a chill down his spine. Stealing the spotlight? Did it mean from Isabella, or from someone else? He showed the note to Isabella, who gasped. "Avery, this is serious. Someone's been in here, messing with your stuff." Before they could act, a loud knock echoed through the apartment, sharp and urgent. They froze, the sound a jolt to their already frayed nerves. "Avery Quinn?" A man's voice called through the door. "This is Officer Daniels. We got a report of a break-in at this address. Open the door." Avery's blood ran cold. A break-in? The texts, the note, the broken frame. Had someone reported him, mistaken his actions for something criminal? Or was this about the Watcher, someone who'd seen too much? He looked at Isabella, her eyes wide with the same questions. The skirt, the heels, the makeup, they were all in the bedroom, exposed. If the officer came in, saw the evidence, Avery's secret could be out, not just to Isabella, but to the world. What do we do? Isabella whispered, her voice barely audible over the pounding of his heart. He didn't know. The notebook in his hands felt like a Pandora's box, the note a warning he couldn't ignore. Was he ready to face the consequences of his transformation, to step fully into the person he'd glimpsed in the mirror? Or would he hide, as he always had, and risk losing the chance to understand himself? The officer knocked again, louder, and Avery knew the moment of truth was here. Hey, YouTube fam. Who's sending those texts and leaving those notes? Is it a prank, a stalker, or someone closer to Avery? Will he open the door and risk everything, or find a way to keep his secret? Drop your predictions in the comments, and tell us what you'd do in Avery's shoes.